That's fine, yeah. This is period 5, May 19th, final BroviTalk day.
So, is it sad? If I want you to sign my shit tomorrow.
That's fine, I can do that too. I have no problem with it.
And
then let's see. If you've had kids talk to you, as apparently kids talk, and they've talked about today, and the conversations, I'm sure some of them have said something about it being sad. With that, I'm not aiming for sad. What I'm aiming for is somber and serious. It's just that part of what I talk about is going to hit some kids differently. Part of my conversation for some kids will be sad. For others of you, you're just going to stare at me blankly the entire time. Either one is perfectly fine. I will say a couple things. One, I will be a little different because today is different than how I normally run class. One, I have notes I will be looking at because normally when you guys see me teach, I've been doing this long enough that it's just all up in the brainy bits, and so I don't need notes to look off of. But today's a little different because I'm going to struggle with this conversation, and so I'll be using my notes as I go through. Two, oftentimes, well, hopefully every time, whenever I teach you guys, I don't stumble and pause when I speak. I usually come across pretty well spoken, but today will be different because I have about an hour and a half's worth of information and I only get 30 minutes for today. And so I pick and choose which conversations I have with you guys. And each class is different. The conversation I had with first period was different than the one I had with fourth period, which is going to be different than the one I have with you. It just sort of depends who's in the class, and it'll depend on how you guys react to different parts of it will determine what I tell you. Okay. Behind me, did I have anyone in here who had the points and wanted to sign podium-y thingy? We still technically can do it tomorrow if you are wanting to. Sanchez, you can. It'll take you down to 28 points if you're good. There are markers up there, and then there are still blanks down there that you are welcome to do. And then we will have time tomorrow if anyone decides then. There we go. Then I will update the tests after school today. And here. So behind me, I will be putting up a couple different screens as I go through and do stuff. Some of them are for you, and then some of them are for me. It's just going to be things like quotes and stuff like that. It helps me refocus my conversation, and it helps me just sort of bring up certain topics. So they're there for you to look at, read if you want, and I'll sort of flip back and forth between a couple of them. Okay. So let's start with, I hate this week. I hate the last week of school because it's bittersweet for me. I am different than a lot of your teachers. I'm different than a lot of humans, period. I really, really love my job. I like teaching. I like teaching junior high kids. I like teaching you guys. It brings me joy. And so this last week is rough on me because I like summertime. I like sleeping in. I love playing video games. I like going to the pool. But I don't get to be around you guys over the summertime. And I'll be honest, you guys have driven me nuts at times. Sometimes some of you have driven me more nuts than others. But that doesn't mean I don't like you and that I don't enjoy it. Part of why I teach is the fact that you are today way different than you were that first day of school. And I've watched you change from that first week till now. Teaching would be a lot easier if you didn't make me like you. Teaching is easier for teachers who don't like kids because you guys are annoying and frustrating, and you make us want to strangle you sometimes. And so not liking you makes stuff a lot easier. But what you guys did was make me care about you. And making me care about you sucks. Because caring about you means I worry about you, and I worry about your future and what's coming up in front of you. And I've realized that tomorrow is my last time to see some of you. which is sad for me because I like you. Even those of you I've put in the hallway or charged you B points or put in Struggle Town or yelled at you because you didn't do homework. I like you guys. I really, really do. But if you don't want to see me again after tomorrow, you don't. I can't handle the announcement.
8th graders, last name.
It's just like first period. So
G
annoying.
through G. Bring your iPads to the library to turn them in.
If you don't want to see me after tomorrow, then you won't see me after tomorrow. Because it's not like I come and hunt you down in the hallways. The only time we interact is if you decide to come by and say hi to me. Or if you come back after school, or come back in high school, or if I run into you at a football game or one of the basketball games. Beyond that, that's it. I won't see some of you guys again, and I've come to accept the fact that I won't see some of you guys again. I hope I get to. I hope I get to run into you, but that's a choice you get to make. And I consider you guys at this point part of my family, because that's what happens when you care about people, is you consider them family. And that's where I've gotten to with you guys, is considering you guys part of my family. So, I told you stories this past week about my life, about the most painful moments of my life and my mistakes, for a couple different reasons. One of them is I want today and my conversation with you today to have weight and meaning. And I think the only way it has proper weight and meaning is if I bare my soul to you and show you my weakest and darkest points for you guys to fully understand what I'm saying and for you guys to give it weight. And I realize if most of your teachers said, hey, I'm going to spend 3 days telling you stories about my childhood, it would begin the student revolution and you guys would be throwing chairs at them. But I said that and you guys didn't revolutionize. You guys just sat there and listened to me tell stories for several days on end, which I appreciate. And the other thing, or the other reason why I tell you guys these stories, is I think it's important for you guys to understand that adults are not perfect. And too many adults, too many parents, try to give the impression that they don't make mistakes and that being an adult is not screwing up. And I don't think that's fair to kids. I think that puts you in an unfair position. So I show you the fact that I've made mistakes. And I touched a little bit on my history, the fact that I come from alcoholism, not me, myself, my family, and drugs, but it goes deeper than that. When I have kids come in and talk to me after school, it is seldom a kid can have a conversation with me that they have something that happened in their life that has not happened to me. My father abandoned me when I was 6 years old. He and my mom divorced, and my blood father disappeared, and I've never seen him again. I've not seen him in 37 years. I have no idea who he is. I have no idea if he'd be standing next to me. My mom remarried, and I consider the man she remarried my father, but then they divorced when I was 16, which broke me. If you've never gone through divorce, good. Divorce sucks, and it broke me and hit me really hard. I've been through alcoholism. Both of my grandparents were alcoholics. My uncle was a drug addict to the point where he was in and out of rehab and jail my entire childhood. I was physically abused from a very, very young age until I was a teenager, not by one of my parents, but by a close family member. And so I've had to recover from that. And so the reason I tell you all of this is not for pity. It's so that you understand, I know where a lot of you are coming from. I don't want you to think I stand up here and try to act like I'm perfect or better than you, because I'm not. I'm you. I'm a lot of you in the future. And I'm sure some of you guys have gone through struggles that I have not, but my life has been far from perfect. But I have tried to smile, and I try to be outgoing and friendly and accepting. And I try to be a role model because I think it's a thing that kids need to see. But part of being a role model is not putting yourself on a pedestal as a form of perfection, is letting you guys see all the dirt and all the mistakes that are made in making a person who they are. So, when I look at you guys, I see two paths in front of you. I see two paths in front of every single kid. A dark path and a light path. I see a path of happiness and joy, and I see a path of pain and heartache and sorrow. I think every person does, but for me, having taught as long as I have, and I've had so many kids come back and talk to me, I see some of the paths in front of you, and it scares me, because I've had kids who come back and talk to me in high school as freshmen who are pregnant, and I had them in class 2 years ago, and I've had those girls come back and talk to me after school. I've had boys who are 16 and a half and have dropped out and working fast food and don't know what to do with their lives because their parents won't talk to them. I've had those kids who have turned to drugs and alcohol at a young age, and I don't want that for you. I don't want you to turn to that path of darkness. But I can't control your life. I can only help guide you. For some of you, that path of goodness, that path of happiness is very, very wide. And I'm not worried about how you're going to do on it. I think your life is probably going to go pretty well. Others of you, the dark path is very strong. Some of you are already on the dark path. Some of you guys have already made choices that have put you going down that direction. And it's scary because you're 12 and 13. And I want to do everything I can to help you find the path that brings you happiness, to avoid the path that brings you pain. When you're a kid, it is very easy to assume that every house is like yours. It's human nature to assume that whatever you go through at home is the same thing that other people go through in their house. For me, growing up, I assumed everybody had alcoholic grandparents. I thought every kid had a grandfather that you couldn't be around after 1 o'clock on the weekends because he would be drunk and embarrass you. I thought every kid had a relative or an uncle that was in and out of rehab or jail because that's what I experienced growing up. But it turns out that's not the way it is. But some of you have very happy lives. Some of you, the conversation I have today is not going to carry a lot of weight. It's not going to hit you very hard because that's not what your life is. For some of you, you have two parents who tell you they love you, who have dinner with you, who tell you that they're proud of you, that hug you, that interact with you, and they don't yell at you, and there's no abuse, and there's no fighting, and except for a few things in your life, things are going well. That's okay. That's a good thing. Actually, that's how life should be for every 12 and 13-year-old. Every 7th grader should have that to come home to. Every 7th grader, every kid should be able to come home to that. But that's not what life is. I am fully aware that
8th graders, school iPad. Last things, H through K. Come to the library to turn in your iPad.
Fully aware that I have kids in my classes, that I have kids in this class who don't have that. We have kids in this class who have heartache and pain. We have kids in this class who don't have the two parents who say that. We have kids in this class who suffer abuse physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, who don't have an adult who says that thing to them. What you have to realize is there are kids around you who are suffering and in pain all the time. That there are kids around you who don't have those happy things in their life. When you're 12 and 13 years old and you are forced to grow up, it hurts and it sucks, because we have kids in my classes who have to take care of their siblings because their parents are drunk by the time they come home from school. I have kids in my classes who their parents have never said the words "I love you" to them, have never told them that they're proud of them. And that's a lot for a kid to have to deal with. That gives a kid anger, and that gives a kid sadness, and that puts a weight on kids that they shouldn't have to carry. But life sucks, and it puts it on you. And I know some of you are hearing this, and you know it's your life also. So what I ask of you is you have to understand that when those kids lash out and are mean, that's where bullies come from. It doesn't come from them just being a horrible human. It comes from the fact that they carry too much pain for a normal 13-year-old to carry. It comes from the fact that they can't carry that weight of that pain and that struggle anymore. And so they have to have someone else carry that pain with them. And the only way they can share that pain is by making you hurt also. They don't hurt you because they hate you. They hurt you because they're jealous of what you have. They hurt you because it hurts them and they don't know how to handle it. The quote in blue is one that guided me and made me sort of become the teacher I am. Those of you who have the good life, those of you who don't have that struggle, you make my job easy because your parents support you in the way that they're supposed to. And so when you come to school, you do your homework. You don't act out. You don't get into fights. Everything is fairly decent for you. And I appreciate that. You make my job easy. You don't make my job important. The kids who struggle make my job important. Those are the kids who need me. Those are the kids who need good teachers to support them. I've learned over the years that I play different roles for different kids. That some kids don't have a parent at home who disciplines them, which sounds fun. If you're 12 and 13 and you don't have a parent at your house who tells you when you're doing something wrong, who grounds you when you don't do homework, who takes away your phone when you fail a class, that sounds like a good thing. It's not. Punishment from an adult is a sign of love. Not hitting, not abuse. Punishment, holding you responsible for your choices, is a good thing. That means someone cares about you. That is a good thing. And I have students who don't have that. So I do it for you. I will be that teacher who holds you responsible. When I put you in the hallway, when I charge you B points, when I made you guys stand for not doing homework, when I reprimand you for your choices, I don't do that because I hate you. I do that because I like you. When you have adults stop doing that, that's bad. When adults stop telling you when you've done something wrong, that's a scary moment, because that means they have given up on you. And I don't want any of you to ever have an adult who gives up on you. That's where I come in for some of you, because I am not giving up on any of you. That's why all the way to the last day, that's why even though it's the last week of school, I keep charging you guys B points. I keep holding you responsible to the end, because if I don't, that'd be me giving up on you. And I won't give up on you. I'm going to keep holding you responsible all the way to the very end. And I know for some of you, that's what you need from me. Others of you, not so much. For others of you, my room is more of a place where you got to have fun, you got to laugh, you got to watch me make fun of other kids, you got to fit in. One of the joys I've learned of my class is the fact that almost any type of kid connects with me. Whether you are the outcast, whether you're the popular kid, whether you're the smart kid, whether you're the dumb kid, whether you're struggling with identity in LGBTQ, whether you're white, whether you're black, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I am going to make fun of each one of you equally, and I'm going to love each one of you equally. I could care less what your background was. And for a lot of you, that's what you needed, was a place to feel accepted. And for you, that was that role I gave for you. The paths in front of you, no, let's go with this. Pain sucks. It hurts. Emotional pain especially, which is why people turn to drugs and alcohol. And I mentioned the fact that there are two paths in front of you. And for some of you it is that dark path, which will be drugs and alcohol. And I wish I could lie to you and tell you that drugs and alcohol are awful and it's an easy choice to make. But that would be lying to you. Drugs and alcohol work. They're successful. If they didn't work, people wouldn't use them. If drugs and alcohol didn't do what they were supposed to do, we wouldn't have a problem with it. The problem is, drugs and alcohol cover pain, but they don't fix pain. When you are hurting and you are in pain and it is too much for you to carry, turning to drugs and turning to alcohol is an easy way out because it is effective and it helps you carry some of that pain that you no longer feel you can do yourself. The problem is, it doesn't help make you better. It makes you worse. And it eats away at who you are until you become strong enough to fight whatever it is. And a lot of kids wear a mask at school, an emotional mask, because they don't want, no kid wants to stand out. Kids want to fit in. Kids want to be accepted. And so they don't want you to know what their pain is. Kids don't walk around letting you know what's eating at them, what their pain is. Kids don't come into school and go, my mom yells at me every night until I cry and calls me fat. Kids don't come in and say, my dad's an alcoholic and keeps beating me when I get home at night. That's not what kids say. They put on a mask so that you can't see who they are. It's okay to wear a mask. It's okay to do that at times, because I wear a mask also. When you guys see me in the front of the room, it's not my normal personality. This is not who I am.
8th grade students with school iPads.
That's what I thought too, right?
L through O.
We're getting closer to the end. This is not my natural personality. My natural personality is the shy, quiet kid who wants to sit in the back of the room and not talk. If given the choice, that's who I would be. I would not be the person that dresses up in women's clothing in the woods at Camp Tecumseh and dances around in front of children. But I've also realized that people find that entertaining. And so I choose to go down that path and put on that mask because I feel it's what other people want to see. Confidence is an illusion. It's a thing I've learned over the years because I know I come across as looking confident. I probably come across as being this person who has everything figured out, but I don't. My confidence is an act I put on for you guys because I think in all my years of talking to people, I've yet to ever meet a person who is truly confident. Every celebrity, every person, every adult I've met and talked to has anxieties and fears, and the confidence you see is a mask they put on because that's what they want others to see. I struggled when I was younger. When my parents got divorced at 16, it hurt a lot when my mom and my stepdad did. And I turned nasty. I was mean, and I was a bully because it's a lot of pain, divorce, and it hit me hard. And I, for a while, enjoyed making other kids cry because it made my pain hurt less. I'm not proud of it. It's not a thing I'm happy that I did, but it is a thing that I recognize was a part of who I am. And there was a day where I made my younger brother cry by making fun of him until he was in tears. And I watched him cry, and I got joy from it. And that was the day I had an epiphany. An epiphany is a big word. That means a sudden realization, a thought that awakens your mind. And I realized that I was being a horrible person, and that I was choosing to put someone I cared about through pain because of my own weakness and fear. And so I decided that day to change who I was. And so I chose happiness. And so if you've saw this at Camp Tecumseh, I have a tattoo on the back of my leg. And it's my life motto. My grandfather, the alcoholic, I loved him. It's easy to love people who are dysfunctional and broken, and I love my grandfather, even though he was very dysfunctional and broken. He was in the Navy in World War II, and advice he gave me was, if you ever get a tattoo, because I wanted a tattoo since I was in junior high. I've always loved ink. I think tattoos are the coolest thing in the world. And I told my grandfather that, and he was like, I support you getting a tattoo, but here's my advice. Design it yourself so it has meaning to you, and then wait 5 years after you design it. And if you still want it after 5 years, you won't regret it. It's some of the best advice I've ever gotten. I designed this tattoo when I was in college at 19, when I was going through some really bad heartache and hardship in my family. And it helped me focus who I was. And what the tattoo is a smiley face, and then it has a snake wrapped around the smiley face with a Latin phrase that says, Ignis aurum probat, miseria forte viros. That Latin phrase essentially says, fire breaks you down, evil and pain make you stronger. The idea being is that evil and pain is always going to be around you. You can't get rid of it. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do, you cannot get rid of evil in the world. Racism, sexism, people who hate you because of your gender or because of your beliefs are always going to exist. We can't get away from it. It's part of human nature, and it sucks. I wish I could tell you that there was an easy solution to it, but there isn't. What you can do is choose how you react to it. You choose which of those two paths you go down, between the light and the dark. This was my reminder to me, and I had it tattooed upon my leg when I was 24, which is over 20-some years ago, and I have not regretted it since. It was my guidance to always smile, regardless of the pain that is around me, regardless of the evil that is around me. So that's partly what I'm going to pass along to you guys. You get to make choices in life. You choose your path. You choose who you're going to be. Junior high is not hard. A lot of it is turning in homework for the most part. I'm well aware that 7th grade English is not important. I am not under the delusion that it is. Very little I taught you this year is important at all. But junior high is critical because you learn how to become good humans. You learn how to interact with other people. You learn how to interact with bullies and how to deal with horrible people in this world. And that is way more important than anything else. So my question to you guys as you move forward is, are you happy with who you are? Are you happy with the version of you that exists? And if you are, good. If you are not, my question is, why? Why are you not the person you want to be? If you want to be the kid that gets good grades, what stops you? If you want to be the kid that is outgoing, what holds you back? If you want to be the person that can freely ask out that girl or that guy, what stops you from doing it? Are you worried about the opinions of other people? Are you afraid of what other people are going to say about you? Are you letting fear control who you are? That bottom part where it says no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. No one else can choose your path for you. Your parents can't choose your path. Your teachers can't choose your path. I can't. Your friends can't. We can influence you. We can't choose your path for you. No one can make you feel bad about who you are if you don't give them permission. If a kid at school makes fun of you, if a kid at school mocks you, and it makes you feel bad, my question is, why? Why do you let that person's words have control over you? You get to choose who is important to you in your life. You get to choose who it is that impacts and guides you and makes you who you are. So if there's a kid in the hallway or a kid in your class who says a thing about you, you choose whether you want to react to it. I started this year with painted fingernails on purpose. If you remember the first weeks, I had my nails painted purple. I did that because I wanted to challenge how people judge others. I wanted to challenge how you view others. That's what I want you to be able to do. The back of every hero shirt that I've had the ability to design says the same thing. Fearlessly be yourself. Because that is part of my life motto. To fearlessly be who you want to be. To not let the opinions of others shape who you are. So what I want from you is, as you go into 8th grade, as you go into high school, as you go into the rest of your life, why are you not the person that you want to be? Why would you ever spend time not being the version of you that you want you to be? Because you're never going to get another chance to be you. And no other person should have the ability to control who you are. And I want you guys to be strong enough to make that choice. If you've enjoyed my class this year, if you've enjoyed me, if you've enjoyed how I ran things, then that would be your sign to give weight to what I say. That means apparently my words have importance to you. And if not, if you've not enjoyed my class, if you have not enjoyed my stories, and you find me bothersome or annoying, that's fine. It is okay to have that opinion. I don't have to have every human like me. But you need to decide which adults in your life get to have an impact on you. And here's some of the sucky stuff. For some of you, it shouldn't be your parents. Some of you have bad parents. And I wish I could tell you it's not that way. Some of you have parents who have struggled and are weak and have not put you in the right place. And that has put you at a disadvantage in life. You have to decide whether you are going to let that hold you back, or do you let that make you stronger. Like the tattoo on the back of my leg. The evil in the world is either going to destroy you or it makes you stronger. You have to decide if having adults in your life who make you struggle break you. Do they turn you toward the path of darkness, or are they going to make you stronger? And do they help make you a better person because you've had to grow in ways that other kids have not? I know kids look up to me and say really nice things about me. But I don't see myself that way. I'm not special. I'm not rare. I'm not amazing. I'm someone who just chose happiness. That's what it comes down to. I'm someone who sees the fact that there's two paths in front of me, and I choose to make people happy as opposed to making people unhappy. Think about my class this year. This year, did I ever tell a kid that they were dumb? Did I ever tell a kid that I didn't have faith in them? Have I ever told a kid for any reason to not make them a better person? Given I've disciplined you, but discipline is not hatred. Discipline is not breaking you down. I've tried to make you a better person every time. That is a choice you can make. If you want to be like me, choose the path of happiness. Be like Travis, the kid that talked to me in the hallway. He could have chosen to insult me, he could have chosen to bully me, and I have no idea why, but he chose to be nice to me. It's a choice you get to make. Every time and every day that you interact with other people, you are making a choice whether you are making their life better or are you making their life worse. My choice is, I try to make every person's life better. I've tried to make all of your lives better being in my class. And I know, it probably didn't feel like that every day. There were times when I took your AirPods or I took your phone or I did a thing that made you mad at me, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't stop me from caring about you, because I didn't do it because I didn't like you. I did it because I wanted you to be a better person in the long run. You are going to get a chance to control how people see you moving forward. Are you negative? Are you positive? Are you happy? Are you full of drama? You decide how people are going to see you moving forward. It's the joy of junior high. When you guys come back in the fall, you guys can be anybody you want to be. You can choose whatever version of you put out there. Kids will resist it for a week, and they'll be like, I thought you were the scary kid last year, and now you're trying to be popular, and you go, yeah, so be it, and you move forward with it. They're going to challenge you, and they're going to make fun of you for a week, and then they accept it. It's what happens. Kids accept things. You just have to be confident enough to move forward with it. My door is always open to you, metaphorically. I mean, it's closed right now. The fact is, moving forward from today, I never turn a kid away. Even if you're the kid that never connected with me in class, and we never had a conversation, and you don't think I know who you are, or you're the kid that we fought all the time, or whatever you think it may be, my door's not closed to you. I will sit, and I will talk, and I will listen to any one of you. If you send me messages, I will respond to them. I will read them. It is why I am on this earth, is to be that person for people who need me. For some of you, you don't, and you'll be fine. You'll leave today, and you'll be good, and life will be all fine. For others of you, you need me for other reasons. You need me for that person that you need to reach out and talk to. You need me to be strength for you. You need me to be that parent figure that you're missing in your life. If that is true, I will do that for you. I will never turn you away. I will never say no. I have high school kids who are still on my reminds. Every year, I send out a remind, and I will accept you if you choose to join. And if you send me messages on there on high school, I will respond every time, and I will listen to you, and I will pay attention to you. If listening today had very little impact for you, that's fine. If today's talk hits one kid and one kid only, I'm okay with that too. I don't know which kids need me and which kids don't. I used to think I did. I used to think I could look at kids and know your home life, but I don't. I'm going to miss you guys. Enjoy the day. And remember, it was somber and serious, not sad. See you later.